but I overdid it so hard that I even got like this nausea, man. It's,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's I did like 7 grams or something. And
Okay.
no, man, it's not. Since that time, I do not want to take it anymore. We always hear in bodybuilding that you need to eat like 6 meals, 5 meals. You see a lot of bodybuilders eat a lot of meals spread out, and we know from the literature that if you spread out your protein, it's better for muscle growth, right? Because you have those amino acids in your bloodstream all the time. But I was actually wondering, what is your opinion on intermittent fasting with bodybuilding, if you're natural?
So my opinion on that is probably similar to main gaining, in that I don't think it's ever the most efficient way on paper to someone's goals. And I say on paper because some people might just love intermittent fasting. That might be the only way that they can possibly adhere because they really enjoy one single big feeding and they find, I don't know, their appetite just really upregulates if they don't have that. But like you said there's a reason bodybuilders have throughout the years, before we even had the science to suggest it, eat protein regularly through the day. Because we want to grow muscle, you need more muscle protein synthesis versus muscle protein breakdown. And you're going through both cycles through the day. So by having protein spread through the day, you can maximize your muscle protein synthesis. It will dip down and then you have some more protein. So then you maximize it again. So you're above the curve as often as possible. So by doing that, you're really maximizing your chances of growing muscle. When you just have it in one feeding, you can maximize it and it has quite a long curve because it's digesting for a while. But the chances are, or we know this from the scientific literature, you're not in as net a positive muscle protein synthetic state. And I think that for maintaining muscle and kind of gaining muscle, it's definitely not stacking the cards in your favor to fast the majority of the day. The body wants to be in an anabolic fed state, and that's going to provide the best route for muscle growth. And if it's the best route for muscle growth, we can be pretty sure it's the same for muscle retention as well. So I'm not a big fan of intermittent fasting. If I was to use it with clients who really enjoy that, I prefer a modified approach where we might do one main meal and then through the day, to get the muscle protein synthesis, we have protein boluses through the day. So they might just have like a protein shake and then some egg whites. And then their third meal of the day is the biggest. It has protein as well. So we kind of get the benefits of both. I don't think that's still ideal because you probably want to place carbohydrates around your workout window for better nutritional timing, having the glycogen stores there ready available, the blood sugar for the training session, the recovery process is going to be superior that way. But I think that at least stacks a lot of the biggest thing intermittent fasting kind of obviates is nutritional timing. And so by having protein spread through the day along with that, you kind of get some of the benefits, at least of like a lot of the main benefits actually of what nutritional timing brings for us. And that doesn't go into all the psychological things, which I think are a big thing with intermittent fasting, because a lot of people go towards that when they love kind of almost like the binge purge mentality. But that's more of a experience. Through my experience of working with people, I've seen the ones that tend to like that kind of big meal and then fast have a bit of maybe a slightly more disordered eating pattern versus people who spread their food a little bit more normally and naturally through the day.
Yeah. What supplements do you recommend for all the natties out there? If it can be with contest prep or muscle building or maintenance, whatever. What kind of supplements would you recommend?
Not many, because unfortunately, there aren't many with a lot of evidence to back them up. But there are some. So some of the ones for sports performance that I would definitely say are worthwhile for bodybuilders to be taking would be, or people just interested in building their body. They don't have to be competitive. So creatine monohydrate, absolutely, is one that I think everyone should be taking, like 5 grams every day, regardless. That can even be good for like brain health and things like this. They're finding loads of benefits of creatine monohydrate. That can improve your sports performance. Caffeine, probably something that you want to use here or there. That's been shown to support sports performance taken pre-workout. So I think that's probably a good idea to use now and then, especially when you've got like hard sessions. I think that's a wise choice to be using. And then for health, I like omega-3s if you're not consuming your fatty fish through the week. If you're having a couple of portions of maybe salmon through the week, you might not need it, but it's probably a good idea to have that. I do find most of us don't get enough vitamin D outside. So I do like a vitamin D supplementation to be taken most of the year, particularly in winter. And then I do find most people don't get sufficient magnesium and zinc through their diet. And because we put our bodies through a lot within the gym, we can generally benefit from a little bit more of those. And so I generally do recommend people look to supplement with those as well. Outside of those health supplements and those kind of sports performance ones, the other ones are much less important, I don't think. You're not going to get a ton from a supplement anyway. A lot of the other things are going to come before that. Sometimes, I mean, I personally use ashwagandha very regularly. Ashwagandha KSM 66 to help with stress management, particularly in contest prep. Probably a very good idea because it's a stressful time, or when you're dieting, maybe a good idea to introduce ashwagandha, or going through a stressful period of life. There is building evidence that that can help reduce stress and anxiety. So I think that's a great idea. And I do use L-theanine most nights. I do find that that helps my sleep quality. Some people might find that. You can also use that with caffeine. If you find caffeine makes you a bit like jittery, it can kind of take the edge off caffeine and be synergistic with that, helping for concentration. But outside of those, maybe you could look into like nitrates, like having beetroot, things like this, because that can aid blood flow and potentially like maybe muscular outcomes, maybe performance, but it's a bit hit or miss. Same with like citrulline malate. Maybe it's kind of has like as equal evidence showing it does do something as doesn't do something.
Yeah.
And then there's beta-alanine, which some people like to take. I don't personally think bodybuilders need to worry about taking beta-alanine, but particularly for like more endurance-based sports, beta-alanine seems to help for those. But I thought I'd bring beta-alanine up because a lot of people recommend it for bodybuilders, and I don't really think it is. I don't think there's kind of good rationale to take it as a bodybuilder.
I hate the itch. I hate it.
Yeah, that's a good reason as well.
Yeah, back in the past, I loved it, and I got beta-alanine by itself because I was just making my own pre-workout, but I overdid it so hard that I even got like this nausea, man. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's I did like 7 grams or something, and
okay,
no, man, it's not. since that time, I do not want to take it anymore. It didn't really have a positive effect on me, but I took a lot. I know that.
And then I was just going to say, I don't really count these as supplements, but things like dextrose, maybe if you're having long workouts, having that kind of simple sugar during your workout, or like whey concentrate, whey isolate. Like I count those more as foods than like necessarily supplements, but they can obviously be beneficial as well.
Yeah. Have you heard about that Turkesterone